In this video, we're going to look at how to calculate an effective interest rate, what's more often referred to as an effective rate. This rate represents the true investment return that an investor will receive and not the nominally quoted interest rate. An important reason to be able to calculate these effective rates is it enables us to compare different interest rates and to select the most favorable rate for either borrowing or lending, due to the fact that it gives us this true rate that actually will apply over the period of the investment. Another way of looking at this is that the calculation of an effective rate provides us a comparable rate, a rate that we can use to compare against other investments. And in essence, the effective rate, as you will see shortly, is actually an NACA rate. In other words, it's the equivalent annual rate of a nominally quoted rate. But because a nominally quoted rate that with a single compounding period in a year, that tells us exactly what interest we will earn in a year because there's no compounding frequency within that period. It'll be useful to understand how the formula is derived, and if needed to derive it yourself as well. So we're starting with an equivalence. The present value times 1 plus the effective rate will tell us what an investment will be after 1 year. And that is equivalent to stating that the present value times 1 plus the nominally annually compounded rate, whatever this frequency is, whether it's annual, whether it is semi-annual, monthly, daily, whatever this rate is, as long as it is a discrete rate, we will divide that by m, which is once again refers to the number of compounding periods within a year, and raise this entire value to the power m. This is our starting point for the derivation. The first thing we'll be able to do is we can cancel PV on both sides. So we're left with the following calculation. PV has gone on both sides. This brackets, we don't need those. And to isolate the effective rate, we just move this 1 over to the other side. So with a little bit of algebraic manipulation, this is the formula that we will be applying to calculate the effective rate. In order to understand this thoroughly, let's look at a scenario and calculate some values here, different scenarios, to be able to do this comparison and see how this formula actually works in practice. Our scenario is as follows. Calculate the effective rate that will be obtained by AB pension fund should they invest in either of the following rates. The first one we're going to calculate. Bank BC offers 6.715% at NACA. Now, those of you that are astute in mathematics would notice that this calculation is actually a bit obsolete, but let's see why I'm saying that. In order to do this calculation for scenario 1, we will have our 6.715% value here, and that is quoted as a NACA rate, which I'm stating is a obsolete calculation. Notice that we only need two values. We only have two variables here in order to convert from a NACX to make it a generalized rate, NACX, whether that's NACA or NACS or NACD or whatever the case may be, to convert that into an effective rate. We only need those two. Here is the calculation. 1 plus the rate divided by 1. But you can already see that when it's divided by 1 and it's raised to the power 1, let me put a bracket here just to make sure that our BODMAS Excel does not, for whatever reason, perform these operations in the wrong order, minus 1. Our effective rate will be, let's get some decimals on here. Our effective rate will be 6.715%. And this is the reason why I said when it's NACA, because we have already stated that the effective rate is actually comparable to or exactly equal to an NACA rate. That's not to say that that's how they are used in practice though, but in essence and mathematically they are exactly equivalent. So when you have a NACA rate, NACA, you can imagine an A there where the X is, then our effective rate will be equivalent to the 6.715%. So there's nothing really in this calculation, but it illustrates an important fact that one of our assumptions or one of our observations concerning an effective rate, we basically are able to demonstrate that mathematically that is indeed the case. Let's go to the second scenario, the second rate in our scenario. Let's look at the second rate offered by a bank in our scenario. Here we have once again Bank CA offering a rate of 6.715, the same rate, but at a NACS rate. How will that impact our calculation? In this instance, we don't have NACA. we have, in fact, an NACS rate, which means there are two compounding frequencies in the year. And because we're dividing this value, 6.715 by 2, and raising this factor here to the power 2, you'll notice that the effective rate, what you're actually receiving in a year, will be a higher rate than what is nominally quoted. That's the nominal rate. The nominal rate does not include the impact that compounding will have on the rate. And therefore, when there is compounding, we actually get a higher value, 6.828. Let's now look at the next rate in our scenario. The third scenario is now Bank CB that offers a rate of 6.705 at NACD. That's a daily compounding frequency. So when we have NACD, that's 365 compounding periods, and the rate, in fact, is lower. The nominal rate, 6.705. It's a lower rate, 6.705. And we'll notice here that the effective rates, what we actually are receiving in 1 year, if we had to invest at that nominal rate for a period of exactly 1 year, is significantly higher than comparing it to a NACA, which is the same as that rate, or an NACS rate, because of the effect of this compounding that happens here. The multiple times that we're actually multiplying this rate by itself. In a sense, it's actually an exponential effect that's happening, an exponential growth of that investment that we will see with this large number of compounding occurring.